There are so many notebooks available out there that you can use as your bullet journal. The selections, the designs, and the price points can vary greatly, so it can really be confusing which one to get. Let me tell you, not all notebooks are the same. Their pages can have different thickness and different weights and made up from different materials. But the key to a good notebook is that they can hold up against the inks from the pens and markers that you will use to decorate your journal. So, I'm going to test 3 different notebooks. One is Harvest Collection, another one I got from a major retailer, and another one I got from a gift. And we will see if the inks will bleed through to the other side of the page. When looking for a journal, especially for creative journaling, you would want to make sure the journal will be nice to look at. The pages will carry your creativity, your thoughts, planning, and therefore each page matters. You would want to keep them even after you finish the last page, and it would be a great feeling when you see a nicely laid out journal. So let's get down to the notebooks. This one here I bought from a big chain store. It has quite a lot of pages and it is hardcover. The pages don't look too thin, but I'm giving it a test. I'm using a set of good quality markers, which is water-based. I would recommend only water-based markers and not alcohol-based, so they will not bleed through the other side. I'm using different methods of testing. One where I will just do one stroke, like when I was doing the header. Another test is where I will do some coloring of an area, and therefore there will be some overlapping strokes, which will be like 2 strokes or 3 strokes, and then I will see how the ink will bleed through or not to the other side. Okay, let's flip the page and see how the ink bleeds through or not. And you can see it does. And where the markers have gone over a few times, the ghosting is very bad, and this will affect your design. Let's write on the side of this page and then see what it looks like when you create on both sides of the pages. I think having a little bit of ghosting is still quite tolerable, but having too much of it, like in this case, how you can see so much of the ink bleeds, it's really ruining the layout of your page, especially if you design it really well. You don't want this to happen. So I'm going to continue testing with different colors of the markers and pretty much just wanting to see the intensity of colors and whether they will make any difference on the other side. Let's draw a green arrow and I will color that a few times, and then let's see how it appears on the other side. Okay, you can see here, look at the green actually appears quite a lot through on the next page, and let's see if I have 1 stroke or 2 strokes or 3 strokes of this green marker. I just want to test whether the page actually can handle how many strokes of coloring before it goes really bad on the other side. So I'm just going to label it 1 stroke, 2 strokes, and 3 strokes. Let's flip over. Okay, you can see pretty much all of them. The third one is pretty bad. Okay, now I'm going to test the other notebook, which is Harvest Collection and 120 GSM, and we will see if the pages will also hold up to the inks. I'm using the same set of markers, so it's the medium intensity of colors, and we're just going to do exactly the same thing. We'll do 1 stroke of the headers and a few strokes in the banner style. Okay, let's flip to the other side. And okay, you can't really see the ghosting where the area has been colored many times. You can still see the amount of ink, I think, being held up, but the color didn't bleed through. Let's try again with the number of strokes. I'm doing one stroke of color here, and then let's do the 2 strokes or 2 layers of the markers, and do another one which is the 3 strokes. And let's see with this amount of ink whether the page can still hold it up pretty well. I'm just going to label it first so we know. 1 stroke, 2 strokes, and 3 strokes. And let's flip. Right. You can hardly see anything pretty much with this 1 and 2 and 3 strokes. So I think when it becomes so repetitive, you might be able to see a little bit of like the weight of the ink, but it's still pretty good in terms of performance. And I'm just trying here writing on both sides of the pages, and let's see if how it's going to look on the other side. Okay, I'm going to flip to the other side and we'll see if it has any ghosting. And no, it doesn't. Looks pretty good to me. I also want to show you previous drawings that I've done, and when I color them I do a lot of like just 1 stroke, and you cannot see anything on the other side. And let's find another one. Okay, like this one here, it's got darker tone and it's also quite heavily repetitive in strokes, and still it's pretty good looking on the other side, except a minimal ghosting. Now I'm going to test a different notebook. This one is a blank notebook and it looks pretty good in terms of the colors, but I find the paper is quite thin. But I would like to show you that the difference in thickness of the pages can really make a big difference in your journal experience. Using the same markers as before and strokes, I will show you how this one actually hold up the ink. Okay, now let's flip to the other page, and wow, this is pretty bad actually. You can see all of the inks showing through to the previous page. This is not good. So, but I'm still going to try to write on both sides, and you will see just how damaging having very thin page can look on your journal. Alright, let's turn the page and see. Yes, there is some ghosting, and I think this is the worst out of the 3 that we've done. Okay, so now let's see again the other 2 notebooks that we've done the testing for side by side. Okay, you can see here how heavily bleeding the top one is, and our Harvest Collection notebook is doing pretty well with the amount of markers and pens that we've done. As you can see, there is still some ghosting on the top notebook, but there is none on Harvest Collection notebook. You can see here and there. I hope this review video has helped you to know the differences between the notebooks for your journal.